All right, welcome to our next episode of Count the Bucket. We're trying a couple things new, so if you have any technical difficulties that you can kind of guys hear with us, let us know. Of course, we're on our YouTube, our Facebook, or Twitter, our Twitch, and everything else that, like always. But we're also trying to do a Count the Bucket space. So I don't have my headphones, my earpods in right now. I've got this going on speaker, trying to pick up CJ and Nick as we do this. So as we do this, we'll see if we got anything going on error-wise. We'll see how it goes. But right now it sounds like it's going okay, so awesome to that. So let's go ahead and get into this. How you guys doing today? How's your week been?
Fantastic. Unfortunately, it's the end of the weekend, but I'm glad to be with you guys once again, man. We always end the weekend on a high note anytime we're on the show, so always great.
Yeah, great week. Going to a great weekend, and then and everything follows through. Glad to talk some basketball with you guys. A lot to talk about. A lot of hoops. Week 3 of the NBA. Let's dive into some subjects and topics.
We're already at 9:45. We usually start at 9:30. We just try to get everything going on this, so we'll try to get going on this real quick. My day's going all right. I went to church this morning. What I was really happy about, my 6-year-old son and I, we actually put on some baseball gloves, went outside and passed a little foam baseball. He was doing okay for his first time trying to catch in the glove, but, old dad had to try to aim it a little bit, get it really close to that glove, but he did good. So what's cracking me up, though, he's right-handed, but he bats left-handed when we play around. And now today he's like, hey, Dad, I think I feel better throwing my left hand. I'm like, no, I don't think so. He said, I think I'm stronger. So he tried throwing it, and it went way down the hill. So we're back to the right hand.
Have him learn both. I'm telling you, he's going to be elite like that.
Exactly.
Look at Shohei.
No problem on that. Yeah, I actually
one thing about baseball, I was a really good catcher.
Now, when you say catcher, are you meaning the catching position catcher or just catching the ball catcher?
Just catching the ball.
Oh, okay. So you was good field.
And I can swing too. Like, I can swing a little bit too.
Okay. I mean, that's always good. We could go on and on about baseball. They used to call me Hollywood in the Little League because I'd come up with the dumbest plays, somehow make them work. One time, I dropped a ball, but yet picked up the ball and was able to dive head first to first base to get him out because I was just kind of – anyways, I don't want to boast or anything, but my young days of playing so great,
I'm crying.
But we'll go ahead and jump into probably one of the most sensitive topics that's been going on with, if you look at anything social media, what's going on. I even briefed my wife yesterday on what was going on because our Hoops Unwrap chat account was definitely popping yesterday talking about everything going on. So I tried to inform her what was going on. She's like, why is the whole uproar on this? I was like, hold up. I'm glad you understand it, but, we got to break it down a little bit. So as I lead up to that, what is going on in the Nets world is my headline for this. We've got everything that's went from Ben Simmons to the offseason of Kyrie and KD wanting out, fires Nash. They don't leave. Now Nash is fired, and now Kyrie is getting, treated pretty harsh on something that went on. So let me back you up. I see we got a few viewers here. In case some of y'all viewers don't know what's going on, Kyrie made a tweet or a post. Let me say a post because I'm not sure what social media he was using. I think it was actually Instagram.
Instagram story, yeah.
And to my knowledge, it was just a picture of a link to a documentary on Amazon. So apparently, whatever documentary was is a bit racial towards the Jewish people. And I don't know much about the film. I'm not watching it because if it's something wrong, I don't know why it's out there to watch anyways. But that's a different story. And so since then, he's had 5 days to apologize. He never did. So the Nets have suspended him for at least 5 games. And then he did give an apology. And then after that, now there's like this script. And CJ, we didn't talk about this, but do you have that picture of what you shared to us that you can maybe bring up on the screen for us? I know it's last minute, and I apologize on that. But now, after he's apologized and still getting a lot of what I say is slack, a lot of feedback from everyone, now there's basically a to-do list for him to get unsuspended because the suspension said at least or no less than 5 games. So even that one thing that I'll say in an interview I watched, and I don't know if people are actually watching these interviews that these media is doing with Kyrie, but okay, what he did was not smart. I think we all can agree with that. But then the media is even going on. One of the person was like, "Hey, what about this post that you did 2 weeks ago?" And when I heard that, I'm like, we're digging a little bit, I think, trying to find as much dirt as we can on Kyrie now. Because if his post 2 weeks ago was a problem, it should have been addressed 2 weeks ago, right? But now we're going to wait till something else is going on and keep going with it. So I want to start with you, with you, Nick, since CJ's trying to look at that post real quick and bring it up. And I know we've talked about this on numerous spaces. We even talked about it probably last week on this show, but it's still in the media. It's still developing different things that are going on. What are your thoughts on it?
Man, I'm so at this point I'm so tired of talking about it. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but to keep it short, man, it's an unfortunate situation. And I've said this on numerous occasions, man. Like, just because I disagree with Kyrie doesn't mean that I have to hate him. You know, absolutely. I don't agree with what he did. I felt like, you know, if he felt like he had something to say or he had something to get off his chest, I felt like he could have did it a different way. That's neither here nor there. But the thing about it is that, you know, people automatically hate Kyrie anyways. You know, we know that this has been a big thing going on for years. So anything that he does, man, it's just automatically going to be big news. And it's just an unfortunate situation, especially considering, you know, what's been going on with the Nets organization. You mentioned it, Steve Nash just got fired. Ben Simmons is now out with the injury. So it's like there's just so much going on with this Nets organization. And honestly, you know, I know that Kyrie's suspended for a minimum of 5 games, but it could be more depending on if he goes by their guidelines as far as, I don't know, apologize or anything, which is, I'll just be honest, man. It's kind of, I think it's a little bit over the top, in my opinion. Like, they're acting like Kyrie's like in 3rd grade and he has to like write a report on like whatever, just to get out of trouble. But that's neither here nor there. It's just an unfortunate situation. That's really all I have to say, honestly. I mean, you know, we talked about it over the last week or so since the reports came out, and that's it.
Okay, so I'm going to try to blow this up because I'm old and I don't have good eyes. So CJ has shared a link from Twitter. Sources of the Nets have delivered Kyrie 6 items that he must complete to return to play. Apologize and condemn the movie. $500,000 donation to an anti-hate cause. And actually, it's brought over it. Sensitivity training. I can't tell what the other one is because I've got that brought up here. Let me see if I can get rid of it. My banner. There we go. So sensitivity training, anti-Semitic training as well. Meet with ADL, Jewish leaders, and then meet with the owner as well to demonstrate that he's actually a changed man. And I do see that Connie's in her comments here. Connie, I'll get it brought up in just a second. The regret that KD got to have the attaching himself to Kyrie going to be insane. You know, and that's one thing that I kind of appreciate of KD a little bit is he was, I want to say, quoted yesterday in some kind of media that he does not really care pretty much. And that's Michael paraphrasing. He was almost to like, listen, he's done what he did. He knows he's wrong. Let's move on about it.
I'm not going to say that he doesn't care. Like, I'm not going to say that he doesn't care, but it's just, you know, I think
we're all over it, I guess.
Yeah, practically.
Instead of don't care. Like, he's ready to play ball and keep on going because Kyrie has issued an apology. And honestly, there was a post that Kyrie donated $500,000 to some I want to say, hate organization. And since everything has kind of gotten blown up more, and I don't like saying blown up.
Don't forget to mention that they rejected it too.
They rejected it. Like, CJ.
And now I think the Nets want him to send it again. And it's like, why? Like, why?
How are you feeling on this, CJ? From the heart.
Yeah, it's just it's a lot. It's a lot, man. It's really a lot to dive into. It's really bigger than basketball. It's really bigger than Kyrie. And Similar to what Nick said, pretty much, just because you could disagree with somebody. You could have disagreements. You could still disagree ideologies, into how you feel. I don't know what his intent was.
Disagree all the time when we still here.
I would have asked him a lot of questions. Figure out why he did it. What's his thoughts on it? Did he watch it? How does he feel about that?
I do know he did watch it because that was one of the interviews that he did say.
It's about discussion. So
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to see where his head was at. What he was thinking about. When he posted that, like, what was his thought process? What was his mind space during that time? What did you read? What did you see? Those are questions that create discussion. You kind of maybe find some, it's not just complete shut down every single time you disagree with somebody. When you have a discussion, when you have a conversation, regardless of what the topic is.
And that's what's kind of, I guess, baffling to me a little
bit. A lot of this really is just, it's all about this. A lot of this is bottom line based, again, it's bottom line based because.
Of course, Anthony's saying the reporter tried asking him about it and Kyrie wouldn't really talk about it. I won't say really. He said he wouldn't talk about it. I think in Kyrie, the way I took it, Anthony.
What he should have did was, what he should have did is go on his platform. He has a Twitch. You can go on his platform and completely talk about how you feel about the situation. That's what I would have did.
Mm-hmm.
That's me.
I kind of felt like
my platform, my channel, to say how I feel, answer all the questions that anybody may have on my channel. He just posted it and then didn't say anything. And I just feel like you can't do that.
It needed more content for sure.
Yeah, you have to have more context in what you're doing, and you need to articulate what you're saying, because things like this are going to happen. And
I almost wondered if he didn't post it before he watched it and watched everything.
I don't know.
There's stuff that we just don't know.
I don't know what was on his thought process. He wanted to post it, so he has to explain and bring context to what he's talking about. You have to. Again, all of that's a part of discussion, asking questions, trying to figure out what's going on, and they go hand in hand. I mean, listen, you're entitled to your opinion, man. I'm not a Kyrie apologist. I'm not gonna say I don't defend these. I don't know these guys. I'm not gonna defend these guys. But in regards to certain things of if you disagree with somebody and then you just get shut down, or you disagree with what we view as right in the present, I feel like instead of having a discussion, people like to just shut people down, and I don't see how you grow as a society that way. When you do that, you have to talk, you have to speak. It doesn't matter if you feel a certain way, explain yourself. If you have facts to base what you're talking about, bring it to the table. Maybe you can find common ground in what you're talking about. It's really bigger than Kyrie, to me. Kyrie's just an example in this moment of something really bigger. And again, when you go through these situations, you have to be able to articulate yourself and bring everything that you're talking about to the table and explain yourself. You have to. You can't just post it and leave it out there and not say nothing. You have to explain yourself. And you do that, and people are gonna disagree or agree.
I heard something. Did you all hear how he actually found the movie that he watched?
No.
I've barely watched any interviews of this, to be honest.
Okay. Well, no. I saw the first. I've seen the interview. I saw the interviews. I saw the one on last Saturday. I saw the one that week.
One of his interviews, he actually was talking to this with my wife and I were watching it, and he actually said the way that he found it was, nobody had told him about this movie or to go watch it or anything, but there's a big thing that's kind of coming out in the Christianity that Jesus' name isn't actually Jesus as far as the Hebrew and the Greek and translations and everything. It's actually Yahweh, and it's almost like a breath, like as you inhale and exhale, Yahweh is the noise you make. So he actually typed in Yahweh, and it somehow came up to this for him. And so he watched it trying to be more informed of Christianity. Because, Kyrie is a man of what he even said in his interview, a mixing pot. It's how he said it. Different religions, different races that he grew up with. and it's all mixed together in one. Like, he doesn't say he's Christian. He doesn't say he's Islamic. He kind of looks at them all. So, I mean, I almost feel like the man really just went in looking for more education on different things that he's into, and it's caused this big uproar because of what he watched and post. Now, am I saying posting that and displaying that was right or wrong? Absolutely, I don't think it was right. Now, after seeing it, should he have went back and give some more dialogue with it? Yes. Does he need to scrutinize as much as he has been? I don't personally think so, because I totally agree with CJ. If you disagree with someone, we need conversations to discuss.
And that's the issue, though. Like, nobody wants to have a conversation, and it's like everybody reacts off of emotion. Like, that's really how it is. So,
people react, and these companies, they look at their bottom line. That's what they think about.
Mm-hmm.
They think about their bottom line. So if their bottom line is being jeopardized, they're going to go towards the side that avoids that from happening. That's what they're going to do.
Right. And I do agree with Anthony on that, where he said if he would apologize first, we had avoided so much more. I do think if he would apologize sooner, it may have been more blown over quickly. I don't know if it would have continued like this or not, but the man should have stepped up as a man and went ahead and apologized. Now, I don't know what Kyrie is thinking, and I can't judge the man because I don't know the man. So that's the thing. Like, I was listening to a guy talk about Kanye, which I found out today that Ye is Kanye. Whew, man. Who would have thought that? But was talking about how Kanye has actually been open about mental health issues, and how he's been prescribed medicine, and he's been on and off of those and everything. And the guy was very respectful in the way he talked about it, because this guy from the audience said, "Why you have beef with Kanye?" He's like, "I don't have beef. I have serious concerns for his mental health." He said, a lot of people are bad-mouthing both these people, but yet they're not looking at the person. They're just taking off surface what they are saying, but not looking into what's their heart like, what's their head like, and what health state they're in. We need to be concerned of what that is. He went on and said, whatever Kanye says, if he's off his medicines, and I'm only bringing that up because Kanye has been open with that. I don't think we should ever talk about who's got mental issues or anything like that freely, because that can be sensitive. But if Kanye wasn't taking his medicines, you can't expect him to be completely right on what he's saying. And he's like, now, if he said stuff like that while he is being treated, then that's when we say, okay, hey, Kanye, we might need to watch what we're saying. Let's get the mic away from him, is what he said. And I just feel like the man is almost getting darts thrown at him because we need someone to be mad at. And, it kills me because I hear the word, it's 2022, thrown out so much. Like it's supposed to be this way because it's 2022, or it's supposed to be that way because of the year. But have we not been talking about tolerance and intolerance so much in the past few years? And the Kyrie, I feel like people don't agree with what he said, so they're being very intolerant about what it is. Like, we need to talk to the man and feel more out of what's going on with him before we throw knives at him. This is
what I'm saying. Is like, and I question the Nets organization, because what are those conversations really looking like? Did you guys really sincerely sit down and Kyrie and ask him, like, hey, why did you post this? Or, hey, what was your mindset when you were watching this movie or even posted this movie? Did you know that you were going to affect the Jewish community? Did you know that you were going to do this? I don't know if it was like that. It may have been like that. I don't know. But, I think we need to have these. Well, exactly. But I mean, I think we need to have like those type of conversations instead of just, just going straight to the point where it's like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, since you posted that and you won't apologize, we're going to suspend you. Like, let's have a conversation. Let's figure out how to get to the bottom of this. Because at the end of the day, this is a country that's freedom of everything. So it's like, we're all going to have free opinion, and everything. So, what I'm saying? Everybody's gonna view things from their own perspective. We all view things from our own perspective. So that's just how it is. So I think it's just best to really have that type of conversation. I'm not saying that the Nets organization didn't, but if they didn't, then I would definitely wish that they would have had like a real rational conversation instead of how everything went down.
Yeah, I just feel like, and I know it's been like 4 or 5 days that everything kind of transpired quickly, but it's still, I feel like it almost was so fast, it's hard to understand what's the right thing to do, what's the wrong thing to do. Now that everyone on the outside can look into it, be like, hey, we should have done this or that should have happened. Like, we're able to take a breath and analyze more. Like, Kyrie's probably the guy, as soon as people came at him on it, well, I'm just going to shut down mode. You know, why get on any social medias? Why do anything? Why not just go straight meditate on what I'm doing, you know? And he's the kind of guy that may be like that. I know Connie's even said that they tried to reach out to him, but they wouldn't answer him, and we've heard that many times. What if the guy said, you know what, I'm being attacked by so much, I'm just separating myself from everyone and taking some time to self-adjust or self-assess myself and see what I've done. I mean, again, we won't ever know. I just feel like I'm more lenient on trying to see what's going on with the matter of the person than what was said. And I know people get heated very, very fast in this conversation. And I just feel like Kyrie's got this narrative out against him that no matter what he does, he's the villain now. I mean, he's the only person that didn't want to play with LeBron, and so everyone was like, Kyrie, he's selfish. He don't want to be playing alongside of LeBron, but he didn't want to be the Robin. He wanted to be the Batman. That's fine, but, you know, we made it out to the villain. He goes to the Celtics, and everything goes crazy there. We don't think it's a good fit for Celtics. He leaves there. He's the bad guy for wanting out. If you're not in a good situation, and I'm not saying
to that defense, Kyrie kind of asked for that though, because I think it was like preseason where he had like a whole announcement like, oh, I'm going to stay, I'm going to resign, and then of course things didn't turn out to be what they were, and then he ended up leaving anyway. So Kyrie kind of put that on himself to a degree. And
I agree, but still, like, it's becoming pancakes. It's all packing up on him, and now we're getting a full service of what kind of guy he is because of everything he's done in the past. I mean, the way I am with it, it's not what you've done in the past is what you're doing now, is who you are. So I don't know. CJ, you got any last things wrapping this up? We'll move on.
Yeah.
What's up, Perry?
Perry, what's going on, man? It's good. Yeah, it's just, again, like I said, conversation, discussion is key. So you got to talk about things. It's okay to have uncomfortable conversations. It's okay to have uncomfortable conversations.
It's actually good.
That's how you move forward.
That's how you grow
as a society. That's how you move forward as a society. If you just shut down one side because it's uncomfortable, we're doing ourselves a disservice as a people.
And you know, and I might be way off on this as you say that. As a father of 3 now, you know, you get your parenting lessons. You don't just say, hey, you don't do that. Why? Because I said so, I'm your dad. Like, in a way, they always say, like, you know, redirect, you know, have the conversations with them, let them know why they're doing stuff wrong. Like, I almost feel like, in a way, we're being that bad parent to Kyrie saying, you don't post that because that's bad. And that's it. Like, why don't you post that? Like, that's the conversations we need to have. It's a teaching moment for everyone. And then sometimes if you don't do that, you're going to have the rebellion in a person. And again, like I said, I could be just getting in the father mode here and way out there. What do you all think? Am I too crazy with that comment?
Not necessarily, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, Kyrie's a grown-ass man, so it's like, I can, like, understand it, but I still do think that there needs to be a conversation, though.
Absolutely. So with Perry joining in the conversation, let's go ahead and transition over to where
hang on. Before we transition, let me just say to all the viewers, we don't discriminate anybody. We love all Jews. We love people of all race, religion. Let's go and get that out the way. And that's it.
Absolutely. So moving on, I've got a question for you guys. Granted, they ain't been getting the W's, but are the Lakers turning it around? And I see that I misspelled turning. Let me
turning.
Unprofessional.
It's funny. It's all right. Good.
There we go. Are they turning it around?
Are they turning it around?
Who wants to go first?
I'll go. I'll go.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, but they need to add shooters.
Of course.
So So Westbrook sacrificing, willing to be the sixth man, to come off the bench, ready to drop bars. Shout out Corey, man. Appreciate you stopping by, bro. Featured viewer and guest on the show, man. Thank you for stopping by, brother. Appreciate you. Yeah, because Westbrook sacrificed, willing to come off the bench. He believes in Darvin Ham. He believes in Darvin Ham's vision of this team. But it's also a Rob Pelinka. They have to add some type of floor spacing. Now you know Westbrook is playing well in this role. Now you have to add some more floor spacers to add around those guys. And they're going to be really good. They're going to be really good. And LeBron, listen, people getting on LeBron. It's early in the season. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's a marathon, not a sprint. We just had the marathon today. got people running outside in front of my house and everything every single year. Tradition. But it ties in right back into LeBron. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's early in the season. He's going to get right. By the time, when it's time to get right by the season, it's supposed to get right by, that's when he's going to step up. Playoffs, second half of the season, after All-Star break, that's when it's time to kick up. We know this already. I don't know why we're acting all surprised, but
at one point he goes off social media, don't he? It seems like
that's during the playoffs. This is during the season. You gotta get right. He's on 9 games in.
Yeah,
come on. Got 73 games left. 73. And what are we talking about? Washed? Oh, sure. That's insane, bro.
Whoa. None of us said washed, but I know what you're saying.
No, people on social media are saying washed.
Incredible mindset when it comes to basketball knowledge on these apps. And when I say incredible, I say that sarcastically. For the audio.
About to start. I can't get it
because it makes no sense. Matt Ryan, he's one of those shooters. He's a guy, had a big shot. Let's talk about what they did during this week. They had a solid week. They could have had a better week. They just lost to the Cavs today. Donovan Mitchell went crazy. Garland had a good game. Westbrook had another good game coming off the bench. So they just got it. They play good defense. But they can't play from behind. They can't come from behind because they don't have enough floor spacers. So even if say there's a couple stops where they're not great defensively and they give up a 11-point lead, usually teams could come back from an 11-point lead because they have at least a couple guys that can shoot the rock consistently from the outside. It's tough for the Lakers to do that because they don't have that, or it's tough for them to keep leads because they can't knock down open shots. So. And when you got a bunch of guys not being able to knock down open shots, it could sometimes mess up the confidence. But primarily Westbrook willing to go to the bench was big time. So now, like I said, it's on Rob Pelinka to put some weapons around those guys. You have to do that. It's very vital. It's very vital at this stage. It just is.
I agree. 100% I agree. The Lakers are showing better signs. I'm not going to say that they are turning it around yet, but they are showing better signs. I believe in Darvin Ham. He actually is showing a lot of adjustments. He's trying to figure out, which lineup works and which lineup does not. So just showing it from that perspective really does make me believe that this team can possibly turn it around, because even before the season, I had them as a 9 seed. I still believe that just because of the talent that they do have around them. We know that they don't have the shooters, but, they still have LeBron, AD, Russ. And let me just say this about Russ. I know that I said a few weeks ago that the Lakers should possibly look to shut him down, but with me just watching how he has been coming off the bench, he looks like he's looking like Russell Westbrook. And what I mean by that is a guy who is controlling the game, dictating the offense, really running that second unit, and is really making me happy because I've been missing this guy for the last few years, and it's really a really good sight to see. He looks like he's having fun with the game again. He really looks like he's having fun with it. He's knocking down his 3-pointers. He's getting to the hole. Like, his confidence and his swagger is back. And that's one thing that I love to see from Russ. And then also another thing that I will say is that, I know that the Lakers have been a pretty solid defensive team, but I think they could be just a little bit better. They gave up 130 to Utah on Friday. They gave up 114 to Cleveland today. Definitely got to do a better job defensively. And then also they have to do better in the fourth quarter as well. Like even in today's matchup, they had a really good first half against Cleveland. They were up for like the majority of the first half. Somehow seemed to shut down in the third or fourth quarter. So they need to be a better fourth quarter, second half team and figure out ways to close games. But besides that, I'm really happy with the Lakers so far. I know that they lost their last two, but from what I've seen over these past few games, it's definitely been improvements.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. I was trying to pull up their last few games here, but it went way back. Okay, I think let me share this here. Sorry, I was doing two things at once there. I finally found the Clippers and Jazz game, and now I should have been bringing this up. Okay, here we go. Los Angeles schedule. So in the past few games, granted, they've played good teams. They lost 14 points to the Cavs, who are 8-0, so they're no one to be upset about. And the Jazz have been playing great, and that game was somewhat close until towards the end, of 116 to 130. They beat a Pelicans team, which we know that we all three, minus Nick as much, think the Pelicans are a great team. Granted, they didn't have B.I., but that was a wonderful game. That's the Matt Ryan shot to put it in overtime, tied up, put it in overtime, and they go on to win. So, these past three games, even beating the Nuggets going back that far, the Lakers are looking better. Now that I look at these scores, the one losing by 14 to the Cavaliers and losing by roughly 14 again to the Jazz makes me feel like I'm not proving my point here. But you can grow with what they're doing with Westbrook coming off the bench. And it seems like Westbrook, his attitude is completely changed, like a 180. He was down in the dumps, it looked like, hated the world. Now all of a sudden he's playing with the second unit and he's back to being his Westbrook-esque way. So I don't know what the conversation was to make him be like this, but it can work.
Darvin Ham kept it real with him.
But do you just turn it on like that real quick? It's just it's crazy because it's almost – and I'm not saying this to be mean towards Westbrook, but it almost looked like he was pouting like a little baby on the sideline, not wanting to do what the coach said. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, either he laid down the line saying you're either going to like it or you're out. And he's like, all right, let's go. Or he said, hey, you're just coming off the bench. We want you to play. You win. We want you in this game somehow. And now he's ready to go.
Well, I'm sure that it was difficult.
Communication.
I'm saying, I'm sure it's different. You got to think Westbrook's a former MVP. Westbrook at one point was a superstar talent. So it's like, for you to go from that to like coming off the bench. I'm sure that's not an easy adjustment. Even Carmelo Anthony talked about it years ago how he wasn't cool coming off the bench. Except now next you got to accept that role, especially if you're at that stage in your career. So I'm sure it wasn't the easiest route for us to be told that you need to be a part of the second unit. But at the end of the day, if you're willing to make that sacrifice to help your team win, then you're going to do it.
Do you think it was almost, and I'm just kind of spitting this with you now, do you think it was almost more mental for him? Like he's thinking, if I'm coming off the bench, I'm not good enough. And Helm set it down and said, it's nothing to do with you not being good enough to start. It's more that there's not enough space with all three of you ball dominant drivers like that. We want you to come off and lead our first team, basically. And he's like, okay, I can get behind with that instead of thinking that I'm just not good enough to start. Do you think maybe that's what – okay, if you're saying I'm still the great Westbrook, it's just we need you to do this, all right, I can handle that. Do you think maybe that might have been a conversation they had? Because I could see him being more open with that than, hey, you're the second string,
It's exactly what Darvin Ham said at the post-game press conference. He was like – he told Westbrook –
Pause. Well, Perry finally agreed with me on something. Finally.
100%. Yeah, but Darvin Ham said this. He told Russ, you coming up instead of looking at it like, oh, you're not good enough, you could look at it as if the starters don't do a good job to start the game, you could come in and get the lead back, or keep the lead after the starters have a good first start to the first quarter with 7 minutes, maybe 5 minutes left in the first quarter. Now Russ is coming in. He's playing in that second quarter. he's putting in producing really good minutes. Now he could drive. He has lanes to the basket. He could post up a little bit more. You got Reeves out there. You got Ryan out there. You got some floor spacers out there when he's with that second unit.
Mm-hmm.
So he has some easier lanes to get to the basket. He's looking at the rim better. He's knocking down his threes. He's just consistent. Like I said, it's confidence. When you have a conversation with somebody and you're letting him know you're doing this for the betterment of the team, it has nothing to do with anything else. It's for winning. And honestly, it's really not Darvin Ham's fault or Russell Westbrook's fault because again, Rob Pelinka, if you were going to bring him in, you have to know you need floor spacers around those three guys. That's just common sense. It's just common sense. They need to go whoever's available right now that's a shooter, they need to go sign those guys. I don't know what they're waiting on.
Right.
Seriously, you're gonna wait until those guys sign to contenders teams in the West or go somewhere in the East when you need these guys right now to develop chemistry with those three guys? What's the holdup? What do we what's I don't know, so I don't understand. Listen, I'm not a Laker fan, so but I just see it. I just see things and
it's even crazy.
It's so glaring what they need, and somehow we're watching games over and over again, and nothing's happening. There's no sign up. There's no signings. Are there workouts? They might be working guys out, but they might be bringing guys in and working them out, trying to see if they can get in shape, and maybe they'll sign them in a couple of days on the 10-day. I don't know. Maybe they are doing that, but I need to see some signings of some snipers, man. Like what's going on?
You would think, though, if they are working them out, with it being LA, that they'd be some kind of article written like, hey, such and such got a tryout or a workout. And then, I mean, we got Golden State's knockout punch. Surely we get some kind of video of someone trying out for the Lakers.
Wing player. Why not just bring Melo back?
I don't think it.
This is what I've been saying since the offseason.
I don't think Melo actually.
Listen. Could he knock down a couple threes in a game? That's
absolutely
paramount. Absolutely right. So
it's like right. It's like I get it. Melo's definitely been a defensive liability his entire career, but the man has shown that he can be a great spot up shooter.
Not his entire. Come on. Not his entire career. Come on.
Okay, the majority of his career though, he hasn't been like an elite defender.
I mean,
only thing I can think of
is not elite, but not like bottom of the league.
No, I'm not trying to say that, but
okay, right.
Thomas
Bryant, what is that? What was that? I missed that.
Thomas Bryant, healthy soon, hopefully, but have him.
He brings floor spacing at the 5 too, but he's gonna have to be able to protect the rim. He's gonna have to be able to be really elite in the pick and roll defense. Being able to communicate with the guard. Yeah. Being able exactly. Being able to communicate with the guard, understand what's going on when that screen is set. And what you guys want to do when it comes to it and action based off what the offense is doing. So,
one thing I'll say is that I like Wayne Gabriel. I actually like the energy.
There we go. Where did he go to college at?
Did he go to Kentucky? I don't even know.
Come on. How'd you not know he went to Kentucky?
I can't remember where everybody goes to college at.
I mean, if he's a young guy and he's good in the NBA, he went to Kentucky. God. Or he from overseas.
I mean, listen, I can't even argue that. It's really true. It's really just a lot of guys right now that's coming from Calipari's system.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Calipari.
SGA going crazy.
Yes, sir.
Jamal Murray might have dunk of the year already.
Oh,
and that was off one leg.
Oh,
and that was off one leg too. Man, he's an elite athlete, bro. Incredible.
Speaking of Max, well, we won't get into Maxey just yet, but I definitely think his playtime will go up a lot, obviously. But I'm watching this game here, and it's the Jazz and the Clippers. Right now, it's Jazz are up 18-12 with a little over 5 minutes to go in the first quarter, which makes me want to do what?
Oh, no, I was just talking about the Jazz. I just said the Jazz.
So one of the players, actually, we'll just go ahead and go here. What do y'all think of Laurie here as far as how he's been playing recently?
If there is a consensus, like most improved, like early most improved player list, I think he's at the top of the list. The things that he's been able to do at Utah. I mean, which honestly, if you've been watching Lauri Markkanen, I know that he hasn't really been like a star caliber player, but he's shown the capabilities of doing these things. You know, being able to attack the rim, being able to space the floor and shoot. So, for a lot of fans, this has really been nothing new. But for him to do it in Utah, for him to be a number one option, I think that's really impressive. Utah is a really good team. Like I know that it's still early. We've only played 9 or 10 games, and we still have a long season to go. But they are a really good team. And what's that?
Yo, add one more K to Markkanen, bro.
Yeah, one more K. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, definitely one more K. But the one thing that I'll say is that I know that like there have been like talks of trading the veteran guys and everything. But here's what I'll say: like, look, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. At this point, and I think that's kind of where Utah should be at right now. You know, they're 7-2 or 8-2 or what have you. So for them to be off to like this type of start, and on top of that, they're locked in on the defensive end. They're moving the ball, getting quality shots. Mm-hmm. This is a really, really good team, and I'm gonna say I believe in them. Like I don't expect them to be top in the West, like top 2 or 3 in the West at the end of the year, but they can.
Been drinking that juice, whatever Perry's been drinking.
What is it?
You've been drinking whatever juice Perry's been drinking about the Jazz now.
Oh, he's both.
Which I mean, they're playing great, and one thing that CJ talked to us,
it's not a fluke.
No, I'm with you because even CJ talked about the coaching staff and how they always play team ball. Watching here, like almost every possession so far, all 5 players on the court has touched the ball or at least 5 passes. It almost seems like, and that's unheard of really in the NBA now. It's whoever brings it up goes 1-on-1, shoots a 3, basically. So, I mean, they definitely have bought into the system. I mean, they still got some of their veteran guys from years in the past where they're always number 1 in the regular season. But come playoff, that's where it changes. But
we're not expecting this team to make noise in the playoffs.
I mean, I'm still not expecting this team to make the playoffs. I still think they're all auditioning for the trade
deadline. Slow down, Perry. Slow down.
Yeah, I
mean, he said that in our chat that it's the 96 Bulls. And I want to give a quick shout out. I see in the space with us. Thank you for joining in here. I don't know how well you can hear the other guys. We actually stream on Sundays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time on all platforms. We're trying to see if we can do our live streams through the space as well to open up more platform to everyone else. So hopefully you hear us good. If not, maybe get on YouTube and send us a message if it's not working because I'm trying to use just my speakers with my voice, which I know is awesome. But Perry has put on here that they're the 96 Bulls, talking about the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, no, come on, Perry. Come on with the hyperbole, brother. Come on.
Now he says, we'll take off.
Because we could pull up Red Assault 1, 2, and 3 on YouTube right now. The 96 Bulls. That's real team basketball right there.
Oh yeah.
Red Assault 1, 2, and 3 on YouTube are 2 of the greatest 60 minutes of your life, man. You want to watch team basketball, 96, 72, and 10 Chicago Bulls. Clean, moving the basketball, just the defense.
That triangle offense, baby.
Boards.
Oh, my goodness.
The offense is incredible to watch. I see why they won 6 championships, bro.
Okay, right now the Clippers, it's one of these shows that actually stays on the cameras. It's not – it's a timeout, but you see what's going on in the arena. They have a hot dog that they're shooting the T-shirt cannon out of. I mean, that looks a little sketch. I'm just going to be honest with you, boys. Like, come on. Whoever thought that, the marketing through, literally, it's going out the tip of the hot dog. Come on, guys. Let's think about that.
It's your story, brother. That is your story.
Come on, Clippers.
But, yeah, the Jazz are playing – again, back to Nick's point. The Jazz are playing excellent basketball right now. I really wish the Knicks go get one of their assistant coaches because we need that. That's the type of coach we need in terms of moving the rock, moving the ball, not dribbling the air out the ball, passing and cutting. Just basic fundamental basketball. Basic fundamental basketball that you're taught in elementary school, passing and cutting.
The flex offense.
So simple, setting flare screens. I mean. We don't do things like that, and the Jazz do an excellent job of that. They did a great job of that on the Lakers. Watching that game, they set some great flare screens, set Malik Beasley up on some threes on the left side, and that's where he likes to knock down shots. Like he has a high percentage on that side of the court. So You know, those are just high percentage plays. Let's get him a play over here where he's hot at predominantly, and that's just high IQ basketball play calling, and that's why the Jazz are still going to be successful because they have some talented guys like Larry Markkinen that you have right here on the screen, and he's talented. I don't know. It's really going to be up to Danny Ainge in that front office on what they want to do because they're playing great basketball. You want to just trade all those guys and just go try to get Wembanyama, or you want to keep this thing going and maybe have these young guys develop behind the veterans and see if you can continue to build a contender. So,
let's talk about that though. Like, what do we think should be? Because, like I said, I mean,
Walker Kessler. I'm telling y'all.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
I've been telling y'all ever since the draft.
Yeah.
Draft,
well, hell, I saw him last year at Auburn. You know, he was a really good player.
There's like a 15-minute video. It's Swish. Shout out Swish. They do college basketball highlights.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, are they like Huddle for the football?
Like House of Highlights? Yeah, it's like House of Highlights, but for college basketball.
Yeah.
It's called Swish.
I said Huddle. You know, have you ever watched Huddle?
Yeah.
Huddle.
But more in the YouTube, space.
Okay, I got you.
More, but the YouTube cinematic wise, not just like raw uncut footage like Huddle.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that video is phenomenal.
Right, but let's talk about it though, honestly, because you know, like I said before, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But you know, we clearly know that this Utah Jazz team is not going to be a championship contender with it, especially with how well they are playing. We all don't expect them to really be title contenders. So, do you stick with this team? Like, you know, do you stick with this team with the Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson, Malik Beasley, and like the rest of these vets, or would you want to trade these guys for a Victor for a number one pick? Like, do you want to continue to try to be a playoff contender, try to compete for a playoff seed, or would you just want to say, you know what, let's just go ahead and start over and let's see what we can get to possibly land like a top lottery pick?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the big question. There's no guarantee they get Wembanyama if they tank. There's no guarantee.
Right.
If they're a high percentage, yeah, because they have more losses than the majority of the teams in the league. So obviously their lottery percentage is going to be high, but there's still no guarantee. And I just don't like that method, bro. You play to win. You're going to tell fans pay their hard-earned money to go to games, knowing you're going to lose every night. Man, you better have a phenomenal long-term plan, because that's a lot of money going into them games. Knowing that the plan for your team, your favorite team, is going to lose, and you still putting bread down that you could probably use for your own family to go, but you're using that to go watch the Jazz, and they're getting blasted by 50 because they want to get Wembanyama. Incredible. Play to win.
I totally understand what you say, and I hate tanking. But if you can see behind me, I'm also a Cincinnati Reds fan, so tanking is in our blood. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say this, and really I don't like being this kind of a coach or GM at all. I really hate tanking. But
I think it's a difference between tanking and being bad.
Yeah,
I agree, because they're not bad; they're good. And if they choose to trade everyone off, then they're basically saying they're tanking. And
exactly that is, if the NBA does nothing about that, then
right. Like tanking means that you're purposely trying to lose. Like, you know, you're just not competing.
If they trade all their guys in February,
they're tanking.
Is the NBA going to do something about that? Right? Aren't they supposed to get penalized for? That's pretty much what you're saying, right? You're trading Markkinen and Clarkson.
I don't really think they can.
That's what you're pretty much saying. You're saying we're going to lose. So what you're going to call it, bro?
Because they're making drafts, or they're making trades. Like they feel like technically, quote unquote, they're making their teams better. So
I feel your best guys. Come on. Now you're trying to make us look. Now you're trying to make fans look dumb.
No, because to me, I mean,
that's sad.
I'm totally with you saying.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm saying in general, like the league. Like, if you're not gonna come out and do anything about that, that's so obvious. You can't just sit here and be like, "Oh, we don't know," or try to say that, play devil's advocate like that for that point that you just made. If that's their excuse and they don't do anything about that, that's an issue.
But how's the NBA going to do anything? What are you going to say? No, we're not going to allow those trades to go through. I mean, that's my only thing, because obviously Silver has said he's going to do whatever he can.
It's going to come down to the rest of the owners going to have to stand up and fight against that, because we know Adam Silver is just the mouthpiece of the owners.
But at the same time,
his boss are the owners. So the other owner has to be like other owners in the NBA have to be like Adam Silver. Majority of this is not right. You can't come on, like look at what he's trying to do here. They're trying to tank and get like how is that right?
But the only owners that are going to say anything are the owners that don't make a trade with the Jazz. Because the other ones will be like, oh, no, man, we made a move to make our team better, and that's the player we wanted, so we took him from the Jazz. They knew that they couldn't move up. They didn't have a shot, so we took a player from them. I mean, they're not going to complain.
I just feel like they're playing well. I want to see how this team is. Maybe Markkanen is a guy. Maybe he's a franchise piece. Why would you want to trade that?
Right. I mean, isn't he like still under 25?
I'm not.
He is 25. I've actually got it pulled up here.
He is 25. Okay. So I mean, he's still pretty young.
97.
He honestly, if he stays healthy, clean decade left. Clean decade.
He went from last year.
Right there.
He 14.8 in points last year, 5.7 rebounds, and 1.3 assists.
He's like this year,
he's 22.2 points, 9.4 rebounds, and 2.7 assists. Those are pretty big jumps, really. So, I mean, he's obviously playing great. And he'd play maybe just as great on a team that has a chance to win the finals this year. Get you some pick. But that's my only thing. I don't want them to tank. Let me get back to this. I don't want them to trade their players. But that's their best option. This team is not winning a ring. We all can agree on that, right?
But what if Markkanen is a franchise guy?
Well, then you don't try to trade that one. You trade Conley, you trade Clarkson, you trade do they got Olynyk too, I think? Kelly Olynyk?
Yeah, they got Olynyk.
You keep that Laurie if you can, but I don't know if you can keep him. So maybe you just keep him and Kessler, the younger guys, let them play as much, because I think Utah would be fine seeing their future playing now, kind of like what the Knicks wanted to do the past couple of years, seeing some of their young guys play that weren't getting to play, but yet they still were bad. So I think playing the younger guys to see what them are or how they're developing, let them go ahead and start playing starting lineup roles, and then you also basically somehow end up losing all your games. Now, again, I don't want you all to think that I am for tanking, but I do think that's the Jazz's move, because you're not going to sign anyone out of free agent to come over to Utah to be a leader on that team. You know that. It's Utah. No one likes Utah.
Well, now that I'm thinking about it, if I'm Utah, I would probably wait it out. I'll probably play throughout the season. I mean, regardless of what happens, they may just lose like the majority of the rest of their games this year, but I would still probably try to play it out this year, see how it goes. And then after the season, let's see if that is a possibility, let's see if we can make some trades happen. But I think they should probably stick it out this year.
Yeah, they could do both. They do have that. But what are those picks going to look like?
I think it's like a first round for the next 5 years. Just don't know what lineup they're at,
because they made trades with Cleveland.
Because how many picks did they get from the Gobert trade?
Trades with Cleveland and Minnesota. Cleveland's 8-1. Minnesota is what? I believe they're 4 and 4 or 5. They're like 5 and 5. They're 5 and 5. They're 5 and 5 right now. So two playoff teams. I don't think that those aren't going to be high picks, but yeah, they have a lot of them. So maybe you could package that for somebody. I don't know.
No.
We'll see what it's very early in the season, but they are playing well. And again, I like their scheme. I like the way they play. They play like a team. 1 through 15, they move the rock. They know who their guys are that need to go get a bucket, but they still play unselfish, and that's why they're winning games. And teams are sleeping on that, and they need to wake up.
Oh, absolutely. Of course, right now it's tied 29-29 with 11 minutes to go in the half, or until halftime. John Wall.
What's this, NBA TV?
It's Fire. It's Fire Stick.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Stream East. Shout out Stream East.
I need the link to that Fire Stick, man. I need to get that, man.
Yeah, just get Stream East, bro.
What's it called?
Stream East.
I don't have Stream East. Mine is Tri-States Cable, I think it is. It's a guy who lives around here that somehow has basically bootlegged all the channels and puts it on my Fire Stick, and I pay a monthly fee on it.
Hey, it's like cable.
Yeah, $15 a month for 2 different ones. I'm sorry, three. But anyway, not that I want to get paid.
I got the game on as well. The Jazz and the Clippers. Little watch party right now. Trying to see. We're looking at. We got John Wall with the basketball, pulling up for the mid range. That's obvious. Okay. Yeah, he looks healthy. Looks good, man. Glad to see him back on the court.
Absolutely.
Most importantly.
I miss John Wall, man. I really did.
Where'd he go to college at, Nick?
Oh my God, bro! Are we gonna do
for 3?
How can we avoid this Kentucky conversation?
You can't because we're everywhere in the NBA.
Everybody that went to Kentucky.
Should they have just kept THT? Did they really need Pat Bev? We're gonna find out.
I felt like I think it's a good move for THT to have left. I think
it's really on THT, man, and what he wants to do.
Well, I've always been this believer that a lot of guys can't play in LA. And, we've seen it over the past few years. Like, Brandon Ingram left LA. He became a most improved player. Now he's a perennial all-star. Kuzma left LA about a few years ago, and he had a pretty solid season last year at Washington. I've always been a believer in THT, but I just don't know if being in LA is the right fit for him. So I've always been a believer in him. I feel like he can be a pretty solid guy for his Utah team. And I felt like it was the right move. I think the Lakers needed a guy like Pat Bev, a guy who can really be an enforcer on the defensive end. Because, I think that was really what they need. And I think it works out both ways.
Yo, Michael, you saw that vlog, brother?
No, I ain't seen the. Oh, it might have just happened. I actually seen that. Was that Rudy Gay that did that little hezzy on the post there? That little shimmy.
Oh no! Oh yeah, you're gonna see it in a little bit. Okay, yeah.
Michael's about 10 minutes behind.
Oh, okay, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, he's a good. You're telling me he's a guy. He's a guy. He's somebody. He's gonna be somebody in this league. He's gonna be a guy in this league, bro. Really good player. Good instincts. Just keeps his hands up. Look at that. Yo, listen. He's a good player.
What we talking about?
He's a good player. Walker
Kessler.
He's a rookie.
Oh, Walker Kessler. Oh yeah.
And he can shoot threes. And he can space the floor. Something Gobert couldn't do.
Oh, yeah.
He could play in the 5-out line.
Rudy Gobert tried to shoot a 3. Rudy Gobert tried to shoot a 3 on Friday's game against Milwaukee, and he completely airballed it. I was like, oh my God.
If they do somehow get Wembanyama, and it's Wembanyama and Kessler.
Oh my God.
I'm just glad that's in the East. I'm just glad that's in the West.
I don't want to see Victor in Utah though, man. Get him anywhere. Get him to San Antonio.
Kessler, that'd probably be one of the most exciting young front courts in the NBA. So everybody's gonna watch those games, bro.
They are.
Crazy as it sounds, people are gonna watch Jazz games. He's gonna bring so many. First off, he's bringing a whole different country.
So that's automatically all those.
To whatever team he goes to, he's bringing a whole different country to that team. So
you got to find a way to get into a big market, man. You
already know, bro. They gotta wait until their second contract.
Yeah, sure.
You have to wait. You have to wait till your second contract, bro. It's just it's sad. It's just how it is.
Dwayne Wade.
Listen, if it was just how the big markets, we would just the Lakers, the Knicks, they would just buy all the best players.
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade's not even with the team right now. He's out in like Africa or something.
No, he's part owner of the Jazz.
I know that, but he's not even like actually with the team right now.
He's gonna say, with our first pick overall, we take Victor and sign myself immediately.
What you guys think about the Kawhi Leonard situation? What you guys think about the Kawhi Leonard situation?
Ooh, what's going on with him?
His knee
still having issues with the knee. Apparently, the surgery didn't go as well as planned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so now they're having it's called knee management. Injury management. That's what they're calling it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the best for Kawhi because, the Clippers team. This Clippers team is definitely going to need him. I mean, I love Paul George. Y'all know that I'm a really big believer in Paul George, but I don't think he can take this team as far as what Kawhi Leonard can do. I think we've all been on this in the past, saying that if Kawhi was healthy in that Western Conference Finals against Phoenix, they possibly could have gotten to the finals. So we all know what Kawhi is, 2-time champion.
Oh, for sure. They're definitely going to the finals.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, he's like,
even though McCall Bridges and Kawhi would have been a great battle in that Western Conference Finals, that would have been a phenomenal battle to watch. But
that would have been really fun.
Of course, I'm going to go with Kawhi. Yeah, but now go ahead, bro. My fault.
No, you're good, bro. But it's like, I mean, we know that Kawhi, we know who Kawhi is. We know that he's been in these situations many, many times and many occasions. I just hope the best for him. I've heard many opinions on it. Apparently, somebody said that he came into the season like a little bit over in pounds, like I guess like a little overweight. So that might be part of the reason. I'm not so sure. I mean, this is just me listening to people talk. I'm not really sure, but
he's more muscular than anything.
Possibly, but
Zion.
I just hope the best for Kawhi, man. I mean, we all know we've all been waiting to really see him on the floor. We saw a little bit of it in that Laker game, and I think he played another game against Phoenix as well. So if he's healthy, you believe in this Clipper team. But if he's not really available to really compete like that, they're still going to be a pretty solid team. They'll probably get a playoff seed, but nobody really sees this team getting to the conference finals or even the finals without him, in my opinion.
This team is very good. I mean, the very depth is. It really going to be if he can't play how well John Wall can lead a team with Paul George in the two. I'm getting to the point where I think it's time to accept that Kawhi may never be completely healthy, and we might just need to accept it. He might be like a Penny Hardaway.
He hasn't been fully healthy in like 5 years.
Yeah, and it's like we still expect him to be this top-notch guy. If he's there, yes, but he's not being there. So maybe we need to just say, hey, we can't say this team is going to be completely good until Leonard can show us he can play a full season. Kind of like the Anthony Davis. I
don't even think they need him to play a full season, though. I don't think they need him for a full season.
Well, to play in the season fully.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's going to be resting quite a bit, but I'm saying just be in that season. Not actually be hurt and have to miss games because he's hurt. Like, I mean, what I was going to say with like Anthony Davis, like it's hard to say that the Lakers are going to be good because you don't know how fragile Davis will be all year, and I feel like there's got to be a time that we got to say, okay, Leonard's just not the same. He's fragile. We can't predict this team thinking that he's going to be completely healthy all year until he proves it. But this team's great, honestly. I mean, their record doesn't show it, but I mean, from 1 through 12, they're deep. I mean, anyone can take over of a game and put up 20 to 35 points any night. So I think they'll be okay. I just wish we had Leonard in the league, if that makes sense on that.
Without Kawhi, Clippers ceiling is second round. I'll give him that.
Second round?
Yeah.
Being put out by the Pelicans, but I mean that makes sense.
I mean that could be a possibility.
Yeah, prayers up to Kawhi. Hopefully he gets healthy. Everything's good with him. Just tough. I agree with you, man. It's just really just going to come down to it's tough for us to really see him play a full season for the rest of his career. Hopefully that does change down the road, but right now it's not looking likely, and it's unfortunate. He's a talented player. Obviously, want to see him out there. He could change how stories are being written in this game because of how good he is. So when he's not out there, it's definitely tough. But prayers up. Hopefully, he gets healthy. You're right. They definitely do have some depth. They have some solid depth that should be able to keep them solid enough throughout the season. And hopefully Kawhi is healthy towards the end of the season and into the postseason, and they could try to go on a run.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and stay in the West. Let's go ahead and talk about my team in the West.
Oh, my God. Why did I know we were going here? Why did I know?
Because as it always rises, the sun is on top of the West again. Granted, we are 9 games in, but are we impressed with the Suns, Nick? Because, you've been having most hater-rated towards the Suns all year. Or is this just kind of how it's played out because it's early in the year? What do you think, big dog?
The Suns are good. The Suns are good. I'll give it to them. They've been off to a really good start. Bubble Booker has been really solid this year.
Bubble Booker
has been solid. I'll give it to him. Chris Paul has been pretty decent. I still want to really figure out how they can really utilize Ayton. I really think that they can really use him a little bit better than what they are using him. But, everything's been working so far. Unfortunately, prayers up to Cam Johnson, who went down, I think, with like a torn meniscus, I believe, or something like that. Yeah, so I think that's definitely going to be a big loss. But the Suns are good. I mean, we all knew that the Suns were going to be up here as far as, being a playoff contender in the West. But, the question is, what's next after that? I think that's still the question that's up in the air. But besides that, I mean, you got to give credit where it's due. The Suns have been off to an excellent start so far. They're one of the top seeds in the West, and they've been pretty solid.
Who are you most impressed of on that roster so far this year, if you don't mind me asking, Nick?
I'll say Booker. If I had to choose, I'll probably say Booker. I mean, I know that's probably the easy answer, but I feel like he's really taking this game to another level. I think this year because I think he kind of faced a lot of scrutiny, especially following that utter defeat against Dallas last year, and I think he's responded pretty well. So I'll give him the credit where it's due.
That's fine. All right, CJ, what are we thinking of the beautiful Suns?
They're playing great basketball. They still really they really predominantly kept the team that they had last year that got 64 wins. Mm-hmm. So it was really just coming down to what that locker room was in terms of how they were as a group togetherness. Were they a family? Did they let that obstacle and not being able to get past that obstacle last year implode their team as a whole, or will it make them stronger? And it looks like right now it's looking like the latter in that scenario, because they're 7-3, I believe.
7-2.
7-2.
Yeah,
playing great basketball. And this is what I expect. I agree with Nick in terms of with the 8 and having some more shots. I agree, especially towards playoff time. He needs to rock inside out. Never fails. Giannis won a championship inside out. The Warriors surprisingly do a great job of getting to the basket. People just talk about the threes, but they can do a great job also getting to the paint. So inside out is very key. So yeah, I'm a fan of Phoenix. I like their game. They had a rough series against Dallas, and they're trying to get back to the finals and right that wrong from last year. And try to do something special and put that behind them and do something special this season and rewrite the narrative. It's a beautiful thing. We'll see if they're able to do it at 7-2, playing great basketball. Not surprised at all. Great head coach of the year. I'm not surprised at all.
So I just pulled up their schedule here, looking back of who they beat and who they've lost to. So they got 2 L's, right?
Yeah.
Both teams that they've lost to, who do you think they were?
Portland.
Lost to Utah.
I already know this one. Yeah. No, they're both Portland, I think.
Nope, they lost to Portland both games.
Oh, that's the Portland both games. Okay.
Both games.
And both of them came off the game winners too. Jeremy Grant hit a game winner one game, and Anthony Simons hit one another.
Yeah, they lost 2 games by a total of 4 points. They've beat Minnesota. They beat Portland, of course, on the 5th yesterday, 102-82. They beat Houston, of course. They beat my other team, the Pelicans. I won't say they're my team. I'm messing with you, Nick. Calm down. The Pelicans, they beat them. They beat Golden State. I think they actually crushed Golden State.
Michael's a fan of all 30 teams.
They absolutely. They beat the Clippers, and then they beat Dallas, and that comeback win all over Dallas. So obviously I went in reverse on that. So they're beating some good teams. They've only lost to Portland twice. I was looking at something as I got a pop-up coming up here. They are second in opponents' points per game of 103, which is very nice. They're third in assists per game and 11 in offensive points per game. Now, this is one thing that I think will hurt them in playoff times and stuff like that. They're 22nd in rebounding per game. That's where I think they're going to lose some questionable games. If you're not rebounding, I mean, the saying they always told me as growing up was offense sells tickets, defense wins games, but rebounding wins championships. So we'll see how that plays on, or if that picks up as they go on, if that ranking goes. So
it's a fact, man. Kevon Looney, don't forget, snagging them boys in the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. So
snagging them rebound, getting them offensive rebounds, second chance points for them shooters.
Oh, that was
so absolutely rebounding wins championships, no question about it. Absolutely agree with that.
So anything else on the
losing Cam Johnson? That's a big loss. They're gonna have to try to. Maybe they need to work. Maybe they need to try to work it out with Jay Crowder. It's like now you need a wing, and you have a wing there.
That could possibly that could be a possibility. That could really be a possibility.
Or Jordan Clarkson. That'd be a great pickup.
Yeah, Jordan Clarkson would be a great pickup, but at what price, at what cost? Danny Ainge is obviously looking out for Danny Ainge.
He wants him picks.
Yeah, he wants picks. It's first round pick. I don't know. 6th man of the year, special player, still in his prime.
Absolutely.
He could come in and get you 30. He could get you 18 to 30 any given night. So
I'm gonna ask you, CJ, because I know you're a big fan of Ayton. If they did get Clarkson, granted he'd probably still be coming off the bench.
No, he wouldn't.
You don't think Clarkson be coming off the bench?
Why would we come off the bench now? They don't even have Cam Johnson. He should be starting.
Well, okay, I'm with you. So, my question
that's a nice starting lineup right there.
My question actually is going to be, as the game ends,
You're pretty small too, if you think about it. Besides Ayton,
who would be the 3 options? Like, would that move Ayton down to 3 or 4 option with Clarkson in there? Because he's pretty good.
Clarkson's gonna have to be able to play more off the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You got McCall Bridges. You're gonna put McCall Bridges at power forward, but he's 6'8" and he has like a 7'2" wingspan. So he's one of the best defenders in the NBA. So is that really much of a drop off? That's not that much of a drop off. You can still play in the traditional big. Clarkson has earned the starting role. Yeah, I think in the right spot. It'd be a good spot for him. It's a necessary need. He's gonna have to be able to obviously knock down, be more of a catch and shoot guy in Phoenix because he's not gonna be the guy there like he was in Utah. These past couple of years in terms of being a 6-man, but he could sometimes play with the second unit, just like how he did in Utah, and do the same thing, and get his buckets, get into a rhythm then when those guys are on the bench. So it's still a plus either way, in my opinion. And then he could come in at the close of the lineup and be there to close the lineup. It'd be an option for you guys from at the wing position. Same goes for Marketing too. Excellent player. He's really into his fold right now. He's going into his mode. He's a very versatile power forward. He can slash, he can shoot, he can put the ball on the floor, he can rebound, he can create his own shot off the dribble.
He doesn't look like a rookie right now.
He's
watching him.
I'm talking about Marketing.
I'm sorry, I was seeing.
We're talking about Kessler. Oh yeah. He has high IQ. He has high defensive IQ. Man. He has high defensive IQ already as a rookie. And when they got him in the Gobert trade, I was like, perfect. That's exactly what they lost, and they're getting it right back with potential spacing at that position. So we'll see what happens.
Look at nice, boys.
Yeah, Marketing is a special player, and he's one of the most versatile players in the NBA. And I'm glad he's really figuring it out. I'm happy for him, man. He was playing great. Like I said this a couple weeks ago as well. He was playing great in the EuroBasket for Finland, for his country. Porzingis too. Both of those guys are really having some solid beginning to the season, starts to the season from a stats perspective. Yeah, Marcus is doing a great job.
So with that mentioning Porzingis over in the East Coast, technically the Eastern Conference, let's go ahead and get on our travel bus and head on over to the East Coast. Where I want to ask you guys, is this guy with his team the real deal? And for you podcasters, that's my card of Donovan Mitchell that I tried so hard to get this year. So glad I found his rookie card. Are the Cavs the real deal? Because right now they're on, I think, an 8-game winning streak, which means they lost their season opener, and they've won the next 8 games. Right. Garland's come back and played. Has come back and played. He's been averaging, I want to say, like almost 28 points a game. That's just me throwing off a number. I think he had 29 tonight, and I think the other night he had over 30. I want to say Donovan Mitchell is leading this team like crazy. You still got all the other players. Kevin Love is actually looking like old almost. Are you guys buying in to the Cavaliers now, or
am I buying in? Yes. Are you kidding me?
I mean,
Yes.
like when I'm asking, are they the real deal? Are they replacing the Nets up in the East? Like, are they going to be up that high?
They're not only replacing the Nets. I'll say this: they're replacing the Sixers. They're better than.
When were the Nets high enough to be replaced? They were like the 7th seed last year.
But again, having the healthy roster,
I still have high expectations for Brooklyn.
They got swept.
They got swept. But I'm just saying, a lot of people said the Nets, hey, they're finally healthy. Kyrie's going to be back from the shots and everything, the vaccines, what I mean. So
no, listen, they play like a team, brother. I'm high on the Cavs. JB Bickerstaff's doing a phenomenal job. And it's that team. That team is great. Kobe Altman has done a phenomenal job learning from David Griffin, former championship head coach with the Cleveland. Not head coach, GM with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And he learned from him, and they got aggressive. They got aggressive, just like how the Pelicans were aggressive and got CJ McCollum, and that was a big time move for them and that young team. They did something similar, but instead they got a guy who's 26 years old with 3 years left on his contract, and it fits right in with what they have going on in terms of a combination of talented guys, but also young guys ready to win today, presently. And they're doing a great job of playing defense. You can't stop Donovan Mitchell. You can't double any. Who are you going to double? You're going to double Garland? Okay, then Mitchell's going to be open. You're going to double Mitchell, then Garland's going to be open. It's tough to stop. Garland's already an elite playmaker, so he's unselfish. It's in his instincts to be unselfish, and he could score. So they have seamless chemistry. It's a great fit. And I said this last week. They have 2 great guards, and they have two great front court players, and that's rare in the NBA. Yeah, that's a rare duo. And your starting line, they have 4 all-stars in their starting lineup. I think Mobley will become an all-star very soon. So they have 4. To me, they have 4 all-stars in their starting 5. And LeVert is a guy that can get 4. I mean, he's one of the most when he's microwave type players that we've seen, at least in this generation. I mean, didn't he have like 50 something against the Celtics like a couple of years ago? He had 41 against the Celtics this year. So if he's knocking down his shot at that 3 spot, that's one of the best start. They have top 3 starting 5 in the NBA. Easily. If you put LeVert in there, and again, how LeVert can score, even a Okoro or whatever, anybody, even Osman, whatever, if you could put anybody at that 3 spot, but what they have at 1 and 2 and 4 and 5.
Where'd he play, Michael? Say it, Michael. Where'd he play?
Played at Louisville.
Still in Kentucky, boys.
So yeah, listen, I'm a fan of the Cavs. They're absolutely the real deal. I think a matchup. They've beaten the Celtics twice. I want to see them against the Bucks. I think that's going to be a great matchup against the Bucks with Middleton there healthy. That's a great matchup. Donovan Mitchell is doing a phenomenal job of introducing himself to the Eastern Conference, and he's going crazy. Averaging 31. You saw the numbers there. I like this team. I like this team a lot.
And what I love so much about this team is they're ready now. And this team,
of course,
and they're only going to be getting better. Like, we talked about Mobley, which I just won his card in a break yesterday, but I think it's a base rookie card. But anyways, Mobley is going to be much more better in year 2 or next year. I'm saying this is year 2 for it, but next year with this lineup, and then moving on, even more developing. And Mitchell's going to be there. Garland is still developing, really. So I mean, your top 3 guys. How old is Donovan Mitchell? He's
26.
Probably. I was going to say 26. So I mean, you've got this guy's probably for another 4 years via pinning contracts, whatever they are, for years on there.
Another three for sure.
So this team could end up being relevant for quite a while, I think, for the next 5 years if they play their cards right. Of course, Kevin Love may not be in here in the next 5 years, but unless you're like
pick up guys, pick up more guys.
He could be the next Haslam for the Mavericks. But I just want to give shout out to Kevin Love. Everyone else kind of abandoned this team that were superstars, but one man stayed true through the worst times of it, and now bringing them back to lead them as a veteran. I'm glad that he stayed with them instead of trying to let me just go play.
Is this a shot at LeBron?
I mean, they were giving him they were paying him they were paying him $30 million. I would stay too. You want a championship? You want a championship there. It's not like the fans are not gonna want you out of town. He was willing to come off the bench and give somebody else an opportunity, which went right into them getting Mobley. Now he's a 6 man of the year candidate every single year now.
Hang on. Somebody come up with smoke.
No, Corey, I did not say Mitchell wasn't the one guy. Actually, back in the summer, I talked about how I think on a different team, he can be a one guy that could lead a team to a championship. I'm all in on Donovan Mitchell. If you didn't see,
we got to go back and watch some of the old episodes. We got to go back because I'll be real. I can't remember.
Well, that's why I wanted to get his rookie card because I thought wherever he went, I thought he was going to be a Knick, and I thought that him being on the Knicks team, that he would be a wonderful superstar in that market. And I tried for about 2 months trying to find a rookie card of his that may end up being worth something. So, yeah, I've been – okay, thank you. He remembers because I think I even in the chat something. I was like, hey, does anybody know where one would be? So I've been high on this guy coming out. Spider all the way for me. I love the man. I thought he was
all
just
fans of Donovan Mitchell, bro.
Absolutely. It's Bubble Mitchell, baby.
This man scored 50 in a playoff game.
Honestly, Bubble Mitchell kind of fits better than Bubble Booker. I'm just going to be honest with you because Bubble Booker didn't even get to the playoffs. He didn't even get to the playoffs, unfortunately. And
I know.
D. Mitch had that show with Jamal Murray.
Yeah, they put on a show.
So that's true. Bubble Mitchell. What if Booker and Mitchell were on teams? That'd be nice. So, yeah, I think, honestly, as of right now, it's looking like Cavaliers are possibly, I won't say the front runners, obviously, but a front runners in this Eastern Conference.
The
You all
Bucks
agree?
are 9-0, so they're the front.
Well, that is my next point here.
Yes, sir.
Can anyone compete with the Bucks, though? Because they're 9-0 right now, and Middleton has still not played. He's played in a few games. Like, he started off not playing in the game. So, like, they've not been 100% for the whole 9 games, too, and they're still 9-0. But what is crazy to me, and me and Nick talked about it before we started, is how come nobody's really talking about the Bucks being 9-0? Like, it's the most quietest thing I've ever heard in the NBA that they're undefeated at 9 games.
Small market. That's the only thing I can think of. I mean, but can anybody compete with the Bucks? Not when they're healthy. I'll be real when I say that. And I mean, look, we know that Boston. I mean, give credit to the Celtics last year. You know, they definitely won that series fair and square, especially with that dominant Game 7. But we also got to admit Chris Middleton wasn't there. If Chris Middleton wasn't there, I'm not going to say that the Bucks would have guaranteed one, but it definitely would have been more competitive than what it was in that Game 7. But you look at this team, man, and I know that Cleveland's playing pretty well this year to start this year, but I don't see this team on Milwaukee's level yet. They're definitely up there as far as the playoff contender in the East, but Cleveland's not up there with Milwaukee right now. That's just my opinion. Giannis is just looking as dominant as ever. Drew Holiday's definitely filling in as that second option for the team. Brook Lopez once again showing his versatility on both ends. This team looks like they're really engaged and really locked in. And once Chris Middleton does come back, it's going to get even better. So I'm impressed with Milwaukee. They're going to continue the momentum moving forward, and I don't really see them slowing down anytime soon.
I don't see them slowing down anytime soon because they have one of the greatest players of all time, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Drew Holiday. No,
don't troll.
They're crazy. Averaging 34 and 14. He's
different.
Just wants to be great. Wants to be a legend, and he's definitely on his way. He's already a legend.
Do you think he wants to be a legend?
Of course, he wants to. Be
Yeah, with the way that he plays. Yeah.
Look what he's doing. Look at the way he plays. You can't take a playoff if your best player is playing like that. You just can't. If your best player is playing as hard as Giannis plays, everybody on the rest of the team is like, so you can't play like that. The best player, he's the best player. He got to score. He got to set guys up. He got to rebound. He has to defend. He has to be a leader. He has to manage emotions on the court to get guys to keep guys calm. It's relaxed. It's all right. Okay, we just lost the run, things like that. Situational basketball. Has to do all of that.
I'm with you.
So he's doing all that and averaging 34 and 14.
What I'm saying is he is playing like a legend, but I don't think he really cares if he's remembered as a legend. Like he's even talked about.
He does.
I'm more worried about my family, my wife, his kids. I almost feel like he could care less if he's really mentioned as far as being MVPs and all this stuff. Like, yes, he's got plays with a chip on his shoulder, but I just don't think he gets into the whole media front. Really, that's why I kind of like him. Like he's a down to earth guy who is phenomenally great, and I just don't feel like he cares what people say about him. He's just going to play ball and dominate. That's what I mean, I guess, when I just said, does he really care if he's a legend?
Oh, well, listen, I mean, the stuff the amount of stats that he's putting up and how he's producing in the NBA, I think he does care. I was just giving him his flowers. That's all I was saying. I was saying he's a great player.
Absolutely.
And what he's doing right now for the Bucks, what he's been doing for the Bucks over the last 7 years or so, has been exceptional. And when they get Middleton back, they're going to be right into the fold. Defensively, they're great. You just can't stop Giannis. He gets that one dribble, 2 steps, and it's a dunk. You just can't stop that. And when he gets older, he's going to play more in the post. It's over. He's going to just start dunking on people. He's going to be once he hits like 34, 35, he's just going to get the ball in the post, one dribble. He's going to just play like Shaq. He could potentially get to LeBron, potentially, if he does exactly what I just said later into his career. If he does, as he starts to slow down, he gets older. I don't even think by 34 his athleticism will slow down because he's generational talent. I think it's going to be like LeBron, 34, 35, still have great athleticism. But I'm saying as he gets older than that, and if he wants to continue to play, he plays more in the post. How are you stopping that?
Especially you get it like an offense that will run with him. Like if he can just
he can just transition into like a traditional center, but still have a really good athleticism. Like it's crazy. That's how versatile he is. When he gets older, he's just going to transition to like a traditional guy, but still excellent at. He still could do what he could do, but just different ways, and it's going to make him a better player. I'm sure the shot will be there by then, and we haven't even talked about that. The shot's not even there yet. But when it's time, like in the game 6 when he dropped 50 and knocked down 17 free throws, he'll knock down those shots, and that's a definition of a generational talent and a franchise player. So Giannis, they're 9-0 for a reason, and it starts with him, and of course a great coaching staff. Mike Budenholzer has done a great job over these last few years as well, and bringing in Jrue Holiday was huge, especially identity at that perimeter position. Defensively, it's a big time move.
The one thing that makes Giannis so great is that even though he knows that he's up there as one of the top players in the league, that curiosity, that willingness to get better is what he has. He knows that he still has things that he can work on. You mentioned the jump shot, we mentioned other parts of his game, and I think that just makes him so great is that even though he knows that, he's got the championship, he's got the MVPs, but he's still not satisfied. I think that's one thing that makes him so great, which is why I honestly agree with CJ. I think he can get up there with LeBron, with possibly MJ, with up there. Like, if he does continue to evolve as a player, if he continues to win more championships, he could get up there.
Now, I want to clarify to make sure we're talking about the same. What do we mean by up there? Like in the greatness talks or like in points? Yeah. Or what are we referring to?
Both.
Okay. To me, look, I've already said this. I think that Giannis can finish top 10 all time when he retires. I think that could be easy for him.
As you would say, I'm not mad at that. I do weigh rings a little heavy. I won't say too heavy, but I do weigh rings a little heavy. I don't know. I'm trying to think and really discuss this with you as I'm thinking about it. Like, I don't think we can consider him, my personal opinion, in the top 10 if he only has one ring at the end of his career.
I mean, he still has a lot more years to go.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
we're
not saying he's not winnable. I'm just saying hypothetically, if he doesn't win another one, and then two, if he does transition to that big man, I don't know
I'd
if he
be
can really
shocked
if he don't get another
if he
ring.
doesn't win another one. I'd be
I'm
shocked.
with you too on that because I think at some point, if the Bucks don't do anything and they kind of start dwindling off, he's gone.
He's 28.
Yeah, so
if he stays healthy, God willing, it could be another 10 years if he doesn't get a championship.
That would be the only place that a small market team could probably get people to come and play at because you have Giannis.
Yeah, I mean, you would hope by a few years down the line, it'd come along. Listen, it's still a smaller market. It still always will be. But, yeah, I agree. They'll have more economy and they'd be able to go over luxury tax a little bit and make some aggressive moves. That's what you're going to have to do to keep Giannis for as long as you want to keep him for. If you want to have him be a Tim Duncan guy or a Kobe guy where they stay with one team for 15 plus years, you have to be aggressive and acquiring guys and putting pieces around him each and every year because the East is going to get better, teams are going to get better, and you have to be able to compete. And they've done a good job of that, and that's why they have a championship, and that's why they're 9-0 currently. They don't have Middleton. Joe Ingles is going to be a big pickup for them when he's right. He's 100%.
Oh, yeah.
His floor spacing, his defense, what he brings to the table in terms of energy as well, underrated factor. Did a great job in Utah. Now he's going to a championship identity. I think it's a perfect fit in Milwaukee with Joe Ingles.
Yeah, I do too. So let's just kind of say a little bit more here on this Giannis talk. Who do we have as our front runners for MVP right now? Because I mean, it's Luka or Giannis. Y'all agree?
I wouldn't even say Luka. I'd say probably Giannis or D. Mitch.
Definitely got to put Luka in there, no doubt. I mean, what he's doing right now.
Luka's probably top three, but I don't have Luka over those two. That's just my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, I got Luka or Giannis. Luka has the most games of anybody in the first 7 games of the season or a 7-game stretch ever. Whoa.
Over 30.
No, but just say all the points combined. And he's averaging over 30. Yeah. I mean 30 something, 9 and 9. He's a one-man show. It really is a one-man show over there. I don't want to say one-man show. They have quality role players. I don't want to disrespect those guys and just say one-man show like that. But they don't have another superstar. We know this already. But they have quality role. They have quality role players. Though. Excellent quality role players.
Starts and ends with Luka. But yes, they have great other players on the team. But everything.
He's the guy. He's the orchestrator. He sets everybody up. He does his own thing. But they still have really good guys, though. Dinwiddie's nice. Hardaway's nice. Those are guys that have done really good things in the league. They're not just like some trash guys just carrying scrubs.
What you mean is Luka right now? Luka's not the front runner. I'm sorry. I love Luka, but nah.
I think he is.
As number one?
Yeah. No, I got Giannis number one. Come on.
Yeah, Giannis got to be number one.
Now I know he's averaging. Did you hear what I just said earlier when I said he was averaging 34 and 14? Hold on.
He said, did y'all hear? Let me rewind a recording here.
34 and 14. Oh, he's like a couple baskets away from averaging 40.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, I can't lie.
Giannis is number one. It's Giannis fatigue. Fatigue of what? I'm not fatigued.
And it's all on jump shot. Or not on jump shot. It's all on dunks.
I read it exactly. Yeah, exactly. Air quotes. Exactly. Yeah, it's terrible. Terrible narrative. It's lazy. So I guess people didn't like. I guess these people that say that didn't like Shaq. Oh, you're a fan of Shaq? Oh yeah, I'm a fan of Shaq. I love Shaq. He was an inside player. He had jump hooks, but he also dunked. Did you not like that? Oh no. Well, listen, it was a different time. Okay, well, so it's still basketball. Anyways, that argument is lazy. If you're still using that argument, that's when I'll be like, all right, bro, let's try to change another subject or just not talk about basketball because that's just lazy. That's just lazy talk. You're not even trying to really have a conversation with me about basketball if you're being like, oh, all he does is dunk. Ridiculous. So yeah, 34 and 14. 34 and 14. And easily. It's not even a discussion. I think you could go Luka, Ja, Donovan Mitchell. I think those are the top 4 or 5 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right
those
now.
definitely not top 4.
But I think Giannis, it's tough for me to say he clears because Luka is going crazy. But the 9-0 plus what like the stats I just said.
Right.
I keep saying it. Come on. Easily number one. Not even close. Best record in the NBA. They don't, like we just talked about, they don't have their second best player. Undefeated. No one could guard him in the A.
I'm trying
top five. He's a top five. He's a top five finisher, playmaker, defender.
Okay.
Rebounder.
Luka right now. And
fact or fiction. What I just said for Giannis.
Go ahead and say it.
So he's a top finisher, scorer, rebounder, playmaker, and defender.
I think the playmaker's up in the air.
5'2".
The playmaker's gotta be up. Like I'll give you the other ones. The playmaker's up in the air as far as the best playmaker.
Top. He said top. He didn't say like. I don't think you meant that it was like the best top. I think just in the top, right?
Top 5 playmaker in the NBA. He's a
okay. Yeah, I'll give you
that.
that. I'll give you that.
Yeah. I was about to say what, bro?
I thought you were saying he was like number one playmaker. I was like, hang on a minute.
Number one playmaker. I'm still going.
I mean, he's up there. I'll give you that. But
I'm still going LeBron number one, but it's Luka right now. Is
Luka is a playmaker.
And Giannis. Those are my top 3 playmakers in the NBA.
Okay, so here's some stats real quick. So Luka is averaging 36 points. No, I haven't seen what Giannis
36,
is.
Right?
36 points. Let's see here. Rebounds. Luka is at 8.8. He's at 8.6 assists, 1.9 steals, 0.5 in blocks.
36, 8, and 8. Yo, he's like a basket away from averaging 40, 10, and 10. He's just a couple more effort plays from averaging 40, 10, and 10.
And Giannis.
And you say he's not top 2, bro? Come on, man.
Hey, I said number one.
He's number one. He's number one right now.
Okay, Giannis is averaging 32.6 points a game. Let me make sure that's right because that might be a little
bit. Okay, it went down.
Let's see here. Okay, so that's defensive rebounds. It's not up top, so I'm having a hard time making sure which one. 12.9 rebounds a game, 5.8 assists, 1 block, and 1 steal, 1.5 blocks. So, I mean, I'm not going to say like his assists are down that it hurts him, but those are pretty.
9-0.
I don't know.
Hold on.
I was saying like team success. Team success plays a role in the MVP win. Like that's just the way that I've always viewed it.
Of course it does. Always.
Yeah.
Bro. Always. Yes.
Here's the thing. It's not the Joker this year, and it's not Embiid right now.
No.
It is Luka or it is Giannis, in my opinion.
Well, so far, I mean, we're still in November.
We're 9 games,
far.
Yeah. And then yesterday, low-key heated. Who's number one?
I think he was saying Giannis. Or I don't know. Perry, who do you think number one is? Because I think Luka is.
Perry said Luka.
Okay.
And look, Luka's been great. Like, I'm not going to take nothing away from him.
And then number three for me is Donovan Mitchell. That's my top 3. That's my top.
You want me to look at his stats real quick, too?
That's my top 3 MVP ladder.
And then 4 is probably Ja.
Throughout the first 2 weeks.
Don't forget, guys, we also got that big man down in the New Orleans.
Nah, he ain't up there yet.
He will be. So who am I looking for?
He's in my top 10. He's in my top 10.
You said John Murray.
That's my top 5, but he's in my top 10.
Donovan. So Donovan Mitchell is averaging 31.4 points. He's only averaging, of course, he's a guard, but 3.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists. I lied. Let me back up. 4.5 rebounds, 6.5.
I actually got D-Mitch over Luka. That's just my opinion.
I mean, it's okay. It's your opinion. It's wrong, but it's your opinion.
Wrong. It's wrong.
But we started out the show saying that we can have different opinions and still have a conversation, right?
Of course.
So let me go back to it. Where was it? Okay, Mitchell, 31 points a game, 4.5 rebounds, 6.5 assists, 1.5 steals, and 0.8 blocks, which is kind of nice from your guard to get 0.8 blocks. So I definitely think he's up there. I don't think he's number 1 or number 2. It would be great if he was. But, yeah. What we got here? Oh, yeah, Dame started out crazy too.
Yeah, he got hurt though, so he's probably gonna drop.
Yeah, he got hurt.
Laurie has to be in that talk, maybe 5 or 7 right now. I mean, watching him in this game right here, he's looking like a beast. I mean, right now he's bodying Zubac, which Zubac finally just got under the goal, put him in jail, and scored. But I mean, he's battling down low.
Yeah, they have no rim protection down there. Zubac is just chilling.
Yeah.
Bigs, when these bigs do this, it just makes no sense for me. You gotta hit Zubac right there on the slip. Come on, man. Gotta see that.
I don't know if Lowry's top 5. I don't know if he's top 5. I don't have to think because I mean our 4.
I got Ja 4 and then 5.
Yeah, I got Ja 4. 5, I don't know. I mean,
I'd have to dive in more to stats and really see how everyone's playing. Like,
yeah, I mean, you could go marketing. You could
go marketing. Tatum has been pretty good this year.
Definitely. Tatum. I'll probably go Tatum. Yeah, Tatum, and then marketing 6. Yeah.
Trae Young has been decent too, but the Hawks haven't really been that impressive.
Mm-hmm. They just beat the Pelicans last night.
Yeah.
Knicks. They beat a couple teams. They're good. They're playing good ball. They're playing good. Jamal Murray. DeJounte Murray, seamless fit. That's what it looks like so far. They're doing a great job together. Trae Young had 34 and 10 yesterday. So yeah.
Trae Young's a killer, man.
Playing off the ball. He's playing off the ball. He's playing fresh. Playing really good basketball.
Okay, as of October 28th, which has been a week ago, more than less, on NBA.com, the NBA MVP ladder, they had Ja number 1, Giannis number 2, Luka 3, Pascal number 4, DeMar DeRozan number 5, and honorable mentions Dame, Embiid, Tatum, George, and Bane even.
It's always going to fluctuate. That's just how it goes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's
their most recent one. They don't have Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, that's crazy.
In the top 10.
Well, Pascal is averaging 35.
You got to think at the time he was still playing without Darius Garland.
Yeah, true. Oh no, that's against Brooklyn. It's not his average. Okay, he's averaging 22.8 points, 8.5 rebounds, and 5.3 assists. Like
Kevin Durant top 5.
See, that's the thing. Like, I can tell you who I think would be top 5, but to actually dive deep into their numbers, I don't really know what their numbers are doing. You know, I would like to say, okay,
that's why I always say team success plays a role.
It does, and I don't like that, but I mean, it has to be.
What do you mean you don't like that?
Really?
I think Anthony Davis should already had an MVP trophy. Back when he played for the Pelicans, when he was with the Pelicans.
So he should have had the MVP over Giannis and James Harden. Stop.
If you take,
wait.
Well, here, let me.
Okay, so wait.
If
Who
you
was
take
winning
AD
MVPs back then? Who was winning MVPs back then at that time? This is like 2017, 18, like around this time when AD was still.
I couldn't tell you who it was.
Giannis, Harden,
and Giannis again. Yes.
Yeah, Giannis, Harden, Westbrook 1-1.
Yeah, it was Westbrook. Westbrook, Giannis, Harden, Giannis.
Perry, he's always like
so
this,
spicy.
Man. As soon as he started
spicy,
up
bro.
Episode, I mean, it's been
the Pelicans were really not that. I mean, they were decent, but they weren't like a championship contender. Like when Harden won it, the Rockets had the best.
You just said he should have been an MVP in one of those years.
But that's my thing. Like, just hear me out, okay? because everyone says that goes to the team that is like almost going to win the championship. That's why I don't like it. If you take Anthony Davis off that team, I don't really care what the stats say. That team is nowhere near making a playoff run on anything. So to me,
you can say that with a lot of guys, though. You can say that with a lot of guys.
You could say it, but Anthony Davis with that Pelicans was the only team or only player they
only got to the playoffs like 2 times when AD was there.
Exactly,
they weren't there that much.
He played. He was a. You could say he was an MVP candidate. You know, he was playing well.
Oh yeah,
he was putting up really good stats. He might have been in maybe like a top 7 type range, but over Harden and Giannis during those years, come on, stop.
Again, I just feel like
well, Harden was doing in Houston.
Oh yeah,
seriously.
But I couldn't.
You got to think too. Steph has also been in that mix as well.
Yeah, Harden was averaging 36, 10, and 8.
Steph, LeBron, a lot of these other guys have been in that mix.
He's doing what Luka was doing right now. He's doing what Luka was doing right now. People forget Harden was pretty much doing what Luka's doing exactly right now.
Mm-hmm.
36, 8, and 8. That's exactly what he was doing. When he won MVP, he averaged 36. So
I am looking up stats for Anthony Davis.
Well, no, I mean, AD was great in New Orleans. I'm not taking nothing away from him.
I remember the 54-point game. I remember the 53-point game.
That was in 2018.
I remember the 45. I remember all those games. Yeah, he played great, and that's why I feel like.
And look, and
I say he needed to get out of there. He got out of there and won the championship.
Right.
Okay, but and how many MVPs he got since then?
Well, he hasn't got any Anthony Davis, right?
Oh.
And look, I'll give it to him. Him and Drew Holiday, they dominated Portland together in that first round. They dominated them.
He's playing with LeBron right now. I know he's had some injuries, but we thought he'd have an MVP by now, right? At least.
Well, see, even the year that,
right?
But see, that's my thing that kind of ticks me off a little bit on it is he almost was a top or a higher candidate for MVP with the Lakers, but his numbers were way less with the Lakers than they were when he played for the Pelicans.
Of course,
and I think
option.
For who?
LeBron number 1 option. Come on.
But that's Anthony Davis. But no. You're wrong on this one because they were saying Anthony Davis was the one that popped in the MVP. And I'm like, how can he win an MVP?
Whoever was saying that, nah, come on. LeBron is the
number. Hold on. What were they saying?
It was the NBA. His first year with the Lakers. They were saying that Anthony Davis was a front runner for MVP when he was with the Lakers. I'm like, when he was with the Pelicans, he was having much better numbers. It makes no sense that playing for the Lakers, he would have a better chance at winning the MVP. When I look in here, he averaged
Michael. This once again
because he's sacrificing and the team is winning, and now he becomes a
second. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Once again, this is why team success plays a role because the Lakers were one of the top teams in that year.
Right, and that's why I'm saying I don't really like that the team takes a lot of value in that. Now, it has to. I understand. That was kind of my whole point. Like, I don't like it, but I understand it.
How you don't like it though? You can't be. How you going to be a most valuable player without the team success? Okay, how you call yourself a most valuable player? The most. Not he's valuable. No. Oh, this dude, no, he's valuable.
You're playing it down there. If Anthony Davis was not on the Pelicans team, no one would care about the Pelicans.
But we could say that I could say that about a couple guys during that.
Couple because they're more valuable.
But that didn't mean that they were going to be MVP.
So you're telling me that Anthony Davis is more valuable playing with the Lakers with LeBron James than by himself with the Pelicans?
Of course.
You think he's more valuable when you have LeBron James on the team?
Yeah, because they need each other. So yes.
See that doesn't make sense to me because you have the Lakers. Oh, well, I'm going to tell you.
You need both of them to be valuable for the team to win a championship.
The Lakers had LeBron, so that has to be valuable.
That's one guy.
Okay, the Pelicans only had AD. That's it.
But you're saying AD on the Lakers is not more valuable than AD on the Pelicans?
I'm saying AD on the Pelicans has to be a higher value for that team than he is with the Lakers because you have LeBron James, right?
You said they'd have LeBron James, yeah. They have LeBron James, but you also need help.
Well, I mean, of course you need help, but
so that's what I'm saying. He was a valuable piece. He was a valuable pickup.
He was an extra pickup. He was the only person for the Pelicans. How is that not more valuable?
I'm talking about he wasn't just the only person for the Pelicans. They had Drew Holiday. They had Boogie Cousins. He had ended up being they had Rondo.
The year that I'm talking about,
Monty Williams was coaching.
The year that he almost won the MVP. You're not listening. The year that he almost won MVP, it wasn't the year with Cousins.
What year was that?
It was the year before that.
When is AD ever been in MVP?
What year did he almost win MVP?
I don't remember this.
Let's see here. It was
top five. I don't remember this.
I can't hear ball. What now?
I don't remember AD ever being in like an MVP talks with New Orleans. I mean, he was great, but I don't remember MVP talks.
He did. He had more numbers without Cousins. What I'm talking about, and he got into the talk a little bit. Like he was never going to win it, but he was at least in the top conversation.
All right,
like
in 16, I don't even remember that.
I remember that. Yeah, he was getting in talks, but he was never going to win.
Yeah, I mean because the team plays valuable. That's what I'm saying is, I mean, he was at least in the talks without the Cousins and the other players. And then
he must have been cracking like top five.
Right, he's a very valuable player. He was a very valuable player to the Pelicans. Yes, but again, like I said, he wasn't going to win. Like you said, he wasn't going to win.
He wasn't going to win it because of the Pelicans.
No, he wasn't going to win it because he didn't have a better season than Giannis or Harden.
But when does? And that's where I mean, again, we can disagree. Obviously, we're not going to get like whatever.
He just had a better season than Giannis or Harden, bro.
But see, it blows my mind. Let's just hypothetically, player A has 38 points, 12 rebounds, and 8 assists average, but finishes.
Put Giannis on that Pelican team. What happens?
It was the same team.
No.
Back then, possibly. Back then, in the early years, possibly actually. But I'm just saying, you got a player. Player A averaged 32 points, 12.
They had no answer for you. They have nobody on the Warriors when they played the Warriors in that second round would have had no answer for Giannis.
Yeah.
Giannis, it would have been Giannis and Drew.
I'll agree to that.
It would have been Giannis and Drew, but on that. Listen, I don't even like playing that type of 2K math real life game, but I just feel like he went out there and produced, and the team started to win. I don't think
I'm hung on this point until I say it, so you guys got to hear me. I don't care what you say. Nick is on team A. Nick averaged 32 points, 12 assists, and 10 rebounds. The team finishes in 8th place. CJ's on team B, averages 30 points, 10 assists, and 7 rebounds. And the team is in 1st place. Who would get
him? CJ. Give the CJ.
But he's not the most valuable player.
How am I not the most valuable player? What?
Because Nick averaged more than you than anything. So how would he know?
So here's the thing: we can't always.
I got it right now. Yeah, I got it right. I got you right now, bro. I got you.
I will bring it.
So just because he averaged more points, that make him more valuable?
Well, more points, more assists, more rebounds.
But the person that's the second option that you said for me on my side. They're putting up. They're losing a couple. Okay, so it's minus a couple of rebounds or assists, but the team is still winning. So of course you're going to take the player that's on the winning team.
Well, I mean that's how it goes.
Because you don't know what the situation is during that game for the player that has the better stats. They could be getting clapped, and he's just putting up really good numbers. Situational basketball.
Okay. So let's look like this. Let's look at it like this. LeBron averaged.
CJ, but okay.
LeBron averaged around 30 a game last year. Nobody had him in the MVP talks because the Lakers were trash. Right. Nobody had him in there. And then I think Embiid was the leading scorer, if I can remember clearly. I think Embiid was the leading scorer. He still didn't win MVP.
No, but
of course you're gonna take. You don't know that situation for that guy that has better numbers. He could be on a trash team and it could be stat padding. When Westbrook was putting up 20, 20, and 20, he's a stat padder. Was you saying Westbrook should have been MVP every single year when he was averaging triple double? No. No.
Did he win an MVP?
No, but one time. But after that,
Just one.
He should have been MVP. When you saying he was averaging a triple double every single year.
I mean,
That's probably that was probably the only year where team factor didn't even play a role into his MVP because we hadn't seen nobody average a triple double in like 50 years before that.
All right, but he did it for 3 out of 4 years.
And then they finally had to say that they had to give it to him because he was playing so well. Stats do need to. Let's see.
I'm talking about after he won it, he still averaged triple doubles for a season. But everybody said he was stat pad.
Perry coming in being a mediator here. He's saying he sees both ways 100%. I just feel like sometimes we let the better team have the better player automatically win sometimes when it doesn't need to be the case every time. I mean, like I said, I understand that it has to take some weight in it, that the one who's playing the best with the best team has to be in it. Because how come no one from the Suns was in the conversation last year when they had the best record? No one was in the Suns.
Booker was in the conversation.
But he was
Not
out
to
of the top
me.
5.
I'll be real. Not to me. And
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I don't.
He wasn't out of the top 5. Who was the top 5 last year?
Top 5 last year? Okay, you got to go. Obviously, Jokic, Embiid, Giannis.
Giannis.
Ja was up there. I'm trying to think. There was somebody else. I'm trying to think.
I was up there, but I mean, a lot of people saying
Steph Curry has to be up there, right? The way he played last year.
Nah, Steph wasn't up there. I think Steph missed too many games.
People had Booker, Tatum. Like, come on, he was in the discussion. Man. He was definitely in the top 5.
Hey, don't forget DeRozan was up there too at one point.
Yeah. People had Booker in the discussion for MVP for sure.
Shoot, now that I think about it, I'm thinking. Like, shoot, now that I think about it, I remember Kobe averaged like 35 a game one year. And I think that was the same year he dropped 81, but he still didn't win MVP because the Lakers were not that good of a team. I think that year they gave it to Steve Nash, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe. Exactly. And if so for that situation, again, every situation is different, right? So for me, I think Kobe should have had a higher opportunity of winning MVP during that season, even though they had a lower seed, because he was playing. How he was playing. He was still carrying them to wins and helping them win. It wasn't like he was stat padding.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't trust some of those guys during that time because they weren't working hard in practice. So he's not going to trust you in the game if you're not going to work hard in practice. That's what he said.
So here is the top list from last year's voting results in the MVP. Of course, Joker number 1, Embiid number 2, Steph Curry number 3. Like I said,
I don't know who's
number
Steph
4.
in there.
I mean, he came in 3rd place. Chris Paul actually came in 4th.
Chris Paul should have never been in there.
Luka 5, Dame 6.
Luka. Who'd you say 6? Dame?
Nah,
yeah.
Dame barely played last year.
Nah, it can't be Dame.
Yeah. It's even caught me off guard when I said, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, Dame probably only played probably a handful of games last year.
Yeah, and then he shut it down, so that don't make no sense. Let me see if I can find some more information here. But it has the 2021 Kia MVP.
2021 Kia MVP. Listen. Yeah, I had Phoenix Sun was in the top 5. Come on, guys. You won 64 games.
I get what y'all are saying, but I just never saw Booker having a better season than the majority of the guys that we just listed.
No, bro, that's what I'm saying. I agree. I didn't think he was going to win MVP, but he's going to be in that discussion. Absolutely. Tatum as well. They were 2nd seed. Butler, he just didn't have the games, but they were the number 1 seed in the East. Embiid, how he was playing before the trade and everything, before they got Harden.
Okay,
that's how I feel about Steph too, because Steph missed a handful of games. That's why I never considered him as like a top.
Yeah, Steph had missed some time too.
Okay, I found
the top 10, definitely, of course. They were like 3rd in the West.
This list doesn't do a top 10 or anything, but it does the top 4 finalists: Joker, Giannis, Embiid, and that was the top 3. I'm sorry, Giannis, Joel Embiid, and then Joker was the top 3, but it don't go any farther than that. because then it went on to say who the top 3 coaches were: Spoels, Jenkins, and Monty.
Okay. So yeah, again, I'm sure that was a Phoenix Sun. Got some votes.
I really don't think so. I mean, maybe got some votes, obviously, but wasn't in the top 5.
We'll see, man.
Boys, we are coming up to the 2-hour mark. I think we've done an awesome job. Nick, you better be cutting a lot of this conversation into some clips because I think we've had some hilarious moments tonight.
Yes.
As always, guys, I've enjoyed it. I think we had some great content sometimes. Well, I mean, all the time. What am I saying? Sometimes. Perry, thank you so much for getting in the comments. Corey even got in there a couple times. Thank you for the guys who popped in and out on the space with us as well. There's no one right now, but still thank you.
Oh, shit. We're still in the spaces. I forgot about that.
Oh, absolutely. But, of course, everyone, if you made it this far, go check us out on the podcast, of course. And over my shoulder, actually, I hit it now. I've got some Java seeds up here on my shelf. If you guys want some Java seeds, you can go to thejavaseeds.com and put in whatever order you want. Use promo code BUCKET, and you'll actually get 20% off your whole order. And we'll get a little paid from that too as well. So definitely do that. Of course, go again. We're on all podcast platforms: Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, the whole 9 yards of that. And of course, check us out on Twitter at Count Bucket USN. Of course, follow all of us on our Twitter's account. If anything else, go to YouTube and follow Unwrapped Sports Network. Everything that all of our shows are done. Of course, CJ and I have 2 other shows that we do with Unwrapped Sports Network. They're all going to be funneled through the Unwrapped Sports YouTube page. About struggle there. So with that being said, let's go ahead and give your all shout outs as well, and we'll get on out of here.
Yes, sir. Like Michael said, follow us at Count Bucket USN. Subscribe to us on any platform that you listen to. Give us 5 stars. I think that we deserve that because, we're a pretty good show. Follow me on Twitter at NickAndreATR. Check out my Patreon. Subscribe to my Patreon. My ongoing series, NFL Players That Hoop, is ongoing right now. The next piece drops on Wednesday. First piece came out last week on Julius Peppers. Shout out Lemon Pepper, Julius Peppers, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, just check it out, man.
Nice. Linktree.com or Linktree, link.tree. C James 9. Everything that I'm working on. Count the Bucket. Every Sunday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. You guys can find us. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell on the Unwrapped Sports YouTube channel for the next time you see Michael, Nick, and myself. Thank you guys for supporting us. You can find me again at the Linktree. That's everything I got. The Hard Count, Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern. Talking about covering all things NFL. My guy Connie, Anthony Conover. You'll find us there. Got our podcast, all things NBA. Solo pod. Yeah. Thank you guys. Great show. Great show.
As always. Of course, my handle is MDLawson00. Do have a show, Backstop Banter, on Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern time as well. Guys, as always, it's been a pleasure doing a show with you all, and you all have a good week.
Deuces.
Guys, have a good week. Take care.